can say there's more than one job that I've had, right, that I wasn't actually 100% qualified for that position.
Okay, no, I get you. Especially my people, like black people, but maybe for you it's not.
But that's where the money is. Certifications and experience. That's the ticket.
How much are you earning? So we're looking at roughly between 80 and 100K.
You just create your CV and you leave it, and companies will come to you.
Hi guys, welcome to the village. My name is Boni. I create content around careers, education with a dose of reality check. Today we have Julian Kriel, who is a DevOps engineer. Julian is Comptia certified, and he's got 10 years of experience. Okay, let's welcome Julian to the village. Hi Julian, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, and yourself?
Good. Okay, Julian, tell us, what is a DevOps?
So, a DevOps is, I'd say, the best way to look at DevOps, or especially how I do it. It's you basically the middleman between your infrastructure team, like your sysadmins and your server admins, the people who actually build and look after the hardware, and the developers. Now, the developers, obviously, they'll write their code and they'll need somewhere to push to and all that stuff. And companies, they'll always have these pipelines, like to take the code into testing, to what we would call UAT, and then production, right? There's a team that specializes that and works on improving that flow. The time from the code changes to delivery to your clients, right? That's kind of what DevOps does, but in a bigger sense, it also helps the organization. So, like, we focus a bit more on system and process automation, which actually can also expand out of the realm of like, just say, coding something. So, for example, if you find finance has, they got some kind of process that they do every day and it's mundane, it's like the same task, it takes away a few hours of your day. It would be the responsibility of the DevOps engineer to find a way to either automate that entire task or, just a part of it. Let's say if you have an auditor or something, it's not just restricted to any IT stuff. It can help any business unit. We kind of just improve the flow of what the company and the organization does in a day in order to save time or manpower.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So am I correct to say your position does not involve coding? Because I know most people who are watching this, people would like to be in the tech space, but they don't like to code. So you might find that they're really interested in knowing about other opportunities and other jobs within the tech space, but that does not include coding. Am I correct to say you are not involved in coding?
That is actually, it's very fair to say, but to a point as well. I've noticed, like, for quite a long period of my journey in my career, I've never needed to code. But because of the work I do and how closely I work with developers, and because they have to, like, when you just work with them, they'll explain the changes to you and whatnot. I've actually built up a solid foundation now where I can read code. A developer can give me code, I know exactly what it's supposed to do, but I don't write it. So yes, it's a long way of answering your question of no, you don't need to code. You will pick up a lot of stuff in this, because you deal with a lot of departments. You deal with the DBAs, the networking team, the developers themselves. So you pick up a lot of skills. I will say though, is where I am now in my career, I have started picking up how to code. But I could always code, but very minimal. But the stuff that I'm starting to build now does require that. So I'd say to get started in DevOps, definitely you don't need coding at all. It just becomes really beneficial for your career growth later on in the game, if you can.
Okay. No. That's fair enough. Tell us, why didn't you go for a computer science degree?
There were two reasons for that. One, mainly, it was it was just a monetary thing, times are tough. You can't exactly just go and pay for a degree or anything like that. But also, and I think I probably would have wasted that money as well, even if I did have it, because at the time I didn't know what I wanted to study. I was torn between, I think it was law, IT, and I think the other one was like forensic pathology and that line of work. I
Mhm.
couldn't decide because this is during my gap year phase after matric. I didn't know what direction I wanted to do or go in. So what direction I want to do.
Okay.
Sorry, it is Monday. Excuse me. There will be there will be some gibberish, um, but yeah. So I did it. So what I eventually I was in Muscle Bay and I was working as a waiter and stuff, and then I just decided, what. I've I've been deciding between what I wanted to do now for years. One gap year turned into two gap years, and it was about to become a third one. So I
Okay.
just decided, what, I'm just going to do an A plus N plus, just because that's basically it's the entry level foundation certifications in IT,
Mhm.
right? I just did those, and I thought, what, I'm naturally good at IT. I don't like have that burning passion, like a person who would wake up and be like, oh, I want to seize the day because I'm a doctor. I'm
Okay.
like my transition into IT was more because I was just like naturally inclined to that. So I thought, what, until I
Okay.
decide what I want to do for the rest of my life, I'm just going to get a basic cert, go get myself a job. At least I'm earning a salary instead of just sitting here wondering what I'm going to do.
How much was your certification?
How
Okay,
much was?
which year was this? 2013. How
Yes.
much was it? How much did you pay for it?
Phew, that I can't. I know it was more pricey than what you can get online because I went to it was a place called East London Management Institute. It was, you know, um, so it was a bit more expensive because they had like hands-on teachers and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure you could get the certification now for a couple of grand, if that. Actually,
Okay.
to be honest with you,
Okay.
it would be an outright lie if I gave you a number. I'm not sure on those statistics at the
Okay.
moment.
Okay. No, I understand. My brother went through like a similar route. He did these certifications, but through a college. So he was paying some ridiculous amount of money, like 70,000 for 1 year. But okay, thank God he's got a job. They've made sure that he gets a job. He's got a job now. But I know that now he says that you don't need to. You can just study by yourself online and then you just pay for the exam. But the exam that we are talking about here, guys, is Comptia exams, right? So that's what we are talking about here. As I've mentioned in my introduction, there's a Julian holds a certification from Comptia, A plus and an N plus. Okay. So you've done cloud engineering, security engineering. Are these two jobs linked?
Very much so. They do focus a bit more on different realms, right? But they very
Mhm.
much complement each other. So, for example, in the DevOps space, when I was working more with the cloud side of things, um, that was more where we focused on infrastructure as code, ways to scale your environment, and all that stuff, and work with the cloud technologies.
Mm.
Now, when you focus a bit on the security side of things, it's 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 as simple as, if you take that same example I just gave now, but not being the person to actually worry about coding the infrastructure, but to secure it.
Okay.
So
Mm.
where that helps is that now that I've done both, now that I'm working on my own, so I don't need to, consult a bit with a security specialist or clouds, or someone in the cloud sphere, because I've got the knowledge of both. I can build that now myself. So
Mm.
why it's good to diversify a bit in this field is now, it helps you, especially this. I don't want to move jobs. I'm very happy where I am now, but I'm just saying in that future, it how that looks is that now for a company, they won't need to look for, okay, a security guy or a cloud guy. It's like, hey, this guy can do both. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
it
Mm.
it benefits you a lot to not specialize too long in DevOps, because the it doesn't change, right? So once you know how to build a
Okay.
proper infrastructure or like environment in the cloud, you've got that skill. move on to something else
Okay.
to make
Okay.
yourself more valuable. You know what I mean? So
I hope.
yes, that's a very
I
long way
hope.
of answering your question of it does work together.
Okay. I hope they pay you well because now they are getting a lot from you. But guys, please like and share this video. And also drop us some questions, not for me, but for Julian, because he's the professional here in this video. He's the one who's an expert, not me. So you can drop him some questions. He will come back to this video and answer them. But Julian, this is the big question. This is what most people, especially my people, like Black people, but maybe for you it's not. But for us, people
Mm.
are always skeptical of certifications. They thinking, oh my God, I think now in well, we are recording this in 2023, but we're going to see it in 2024. But I think right now it's not that bad. Like people are beginning to see more of these type of jobs where you can just go through certifications. So now, Julian, I want to know, was it difficult for you to find your first job? I know you're a systems administrator. How did that work for you? Was it difficult?
I actually want to touch on what you first said before you asked that
Okay.
question because I found that quite interesting. But before we go there, I'll just answer this one now. My first job, funny enough, no, it wasn't. It was very weird how that my first job came to be because I kind of just finished up my A plus and N plus certification. The N plus I got last. I think it was like 2 weeks after that. I was living in East London and
Mm-hmm.
I had a holiday planned for about a week in Joburg, right? And
Okay.
I went up for my holiday, and I can't remember where I heard, but I heard that this one company was hiring, and it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
too far from where I was staying, where I was going to stay. So I just emailed the guys and I just said, "Hey guys, listen, I've just finished. I heard you guys are hiring. I've just finished my studying. Is there any chance we could have a chat in 2 weeks' time when I'm in Joburg?" And he said yes. I had the
Okay.
interview on the second day I was there. Third day, got the job, and then I pretty much had a week to get back home after my holiday, pack up, and move back to Joburg. And
Okay.
that's how I started.
Okay. Okay.
Happened very fast.
Okay. So it's not difficult.
Yeah.
Okay. Answer the
No,
other parts. There
it
is
was.
another
I
part.
thought it'd be harder.
Okay, it was not. Okay. But you wanted to answer, you wanted to touch on something else that I spoke about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I found that quite interesting because I think I saw a another one of your videos where you also asked the question. I think you posed the question of do white people get paid more than black people in
Mm-hmm.
the IT space?
Yeah.
And when I saw that question and think to be I was started thinking about it since you posted that because obviously I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know what it's like to live through the eyes of a black man in South Africa, but I can say that I think I just heard a correlation now about why that could be
Mm-hmm.
when you were talking about the certifications and stuff, because that trend is gone of um, like okay, let me not say this to cause mm, chest pains, as you would say, to people, but getting a degree these days is not as revered as it once was. And I can
Mm-hmm.
say that for certain because I've worked in a couple of companies where we've needed to hire some more people for the team, right? And
Okay.
because the especially in the DevOps sphere and maybe just IT in general at the moment, we move a lot quicker, right?
Okay.
So when it comes down to looking at a pile of CVs, if we see
Mm.
there's two people here, one person has um, let's say in the last 6 years, they spent 4 years getting their degree, and they've got
Mm-hmm.
2 years in an IT space as, let's say, a Java developer or something to that effect. Now, on the other hand,
You're right.
we have another CV with a person with no degree, but he's
Right.
certified in the problem we have, and he's got 4 years experience using it. That guy wins 10 hand over fist. There will be no question because it's a bit unfortunate because obviously you spend a lot of time and money getting your degree, And it does help. Trust me, it does help, especially in the corporate side of things. But I'm not in that anymore. There's a different sphere, which is great. But
Okay.
certifications in IT are probably certification and experience in IT is probably worth more at the moment than a degree with no experience. Because if you think
Mm.
about it, if you have a company and we have a problem, we need to solve now. We need to solve this problem now. Are we still going to take this graduate and spend the next 6, 7 months training him up before he can even start his work? Or do you want someone who you can hire
Mm.
tomorrow and he'll fix your problem tomorrow? You know,
Mm.
so
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So if
Yeah.
that's where I thought it was interesting, because if you're saying like the thought is a thought around in the Black community is perhaps that the certifications aren't like, but that's where the money is. Certifications and experience.
Mm.
That's the ticket. And also I'd
Yeah.
say go away from the big corporate banks and stuff like that. You don't want to be there in IT. It's career suicide in a way, working for these big companies.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
no, it's true,
Because
because you get
Julian,
evaluated by people who aren't in IT. They don't speak your
uh,
language, so they just pay you your average, and because of a checklist, they think you've done a good job. You know what I mean?
because honestly, with us, it's sort of like, you know what? No, you need to get a degree. Hey, you think we are whites? Don't compete with white people. Those people, they can phone family and friends, and they can hook them up with jobs when you don't know anyone who owns a company. But I think right now, 2023, 2024,
Mm,
we are in a different space. It's not as bad as before. How much were you earning
mm.
in your first job? You see, now we've spoken a
First
lot
job,
about your first job. How much are you earning?
um, it was either 11 or 12.
Okay, between there. Okay,
Yeah.
there was in 2014.
Yes.
How long did it take you to do your certifications? Was it 1 year or 6 months?
For me, it took about 4 or 5 months to do. But that was again because
Okay,
it was a huge class, and they have their breaks and stuff like that, or like their June July breaks
okay,
and all that type of stuff. It took longer than it should have, and cost more money than it should have. But that's how long it took me.
okay. So you were earning, okay, that's good, around 12, 11 for
Yeah,
your first job. Okay, I
yeah.
think that's good. I know we've touched on this
Mm.
about degrees and stuff, but do you think you would have been earning more if you had a degree at your first job?
Yeah, most definitely would have. However, I think I was earning. I got lucky, but I think I started earning a bit more in the long run, in the sense of because of how I explained to you now. Starting off, because if I had to start that job now, then because I started working when I was like 22, right? If I had gotten my degree, and
Okay,
let's say I only would have started at 25, yeah,
okay.
so technically yes, but I would have started later,
Okay. So right now, maybe there is a parent that is watching this that is not that
Mm.
exposed, but they would like some insight. Do you think there is any disadvantages to certifications during this time, your 10-year period in your career? Have you felt like there's a disadvantage? Can you share some disadvantages with us if there is any?
Um, I mean, the thing is, certifications are also, I can't see a point, anything about a disadvantage of a certification, because I mean, it's a, it's proof that you know what you're talking about in that particular topic. I'd say the only thing you need to be cautious of is to not perhaps get either pay too much for a certain certification, or get a certification in a field that's not really that relevant anymore. Or, it's, yeah, but I don't
Okay.
see a disadvantage of a certification. I'm open to correction, but for me personally, I just see it as proof that you know what you're talking about on that subject matter.
I know not most, all of these certifications, they will expire after 3 years, right? and you need to rewrite. Do you find that to be difficult or easy for you because you are in the field, you are working, so you don't find it difficult for you?
Yeah, they do. But I mean, for example, the A plus and N plus of mine that I mentioned, that thing expired years ago. However, I've at least been able to build my career up to a point now where I don't need to reference A plus and N plus. You know, so for example, like let's use a more relevant one is let's say if you get Ansible certified or Kubernetes, or like get some sort of certification in something like Kubernetes. Yes, it's all. I mean, it's good to have those certs and renew them. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, but a main focus should be that if it expires in 4 years, you have 4 years to kind of like prove yourself, or like to actually
Okay.
build up the knowledge so that you don't need to reference a cert. You know what you're talking about, so it's kind of on you in that
Oh,
sense as well.
okay.
But you can obviously always renew it, like.
Oh, because when I post about these salaries that people did their certifications, most comments I get are, oh no, but these certificates, they expire. So I thought you can't work without renewing.
No, it's definitely not that. You're not like temporarily certified and then once it expires, you lose your job. No, 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 no. It's definitely nothing like that.
Okay.
Yeah, like put it this way, like so. Let's go back to that A plus and N plus example. Those are great certs to have. It gives you the foundation level of IT, right? But as far as qualifications goes, it only really at most would qualify you to be a systems administrator or part of like a help desk or something like that. It's entry level certs into the IT field. But now I've at
Okay.
least grown my career to a point now where that is not a question. I'm not going back to systems admin. I'm not going back to being to a help desk. You
Okay.
know what I mean? So I don't need that certification anymore. I don't need to renew it
Mm,
because I'm not going back there.
okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. And it's nice to talk to someone who's not a programmer because a lot of people they think for you to be in the tech space, you need to be a programmer. So like
No, no, no.
this is why I was interested in having a chat with you because your space is different and you might find that there are people who are hearing about it for the first time. Julian, I have to ask you, how was your maths at school?
Horrible, horrible. No, I did maths. I didn't even consider doing normal maths. As soon as I got time to grade 10, I had to choose subject. I put a quick crossover maths list. I wanted nothing to do with normal maths, if I'm honest. Yeah, so
Oh my God. You know, I'm gonna have people saying, yeah, you see, maths leads is not it's not that bad. Okay, so you did your maths leads.
no, I was just gonna say that I see what you're saying. Maths does definitely help later on in like the day in the programming and stuff like that. But again, it's just because you didn't do maths, normal maths, don't get it twisted that you can't have a career in IT because I came up against those struggles of like needing to do like a bit more advanced calculation stuff. But you know what? We live in an age where you can, especially in IT, right? Whatever problem you come across, I am pretty sure about 100 people have had that issue before you, and there's at least 10 articles on how to fix this problem online. So
Okay,
you don't need
okay,
to be scared if you don't know something in this field because the way you can obtain new information and fix your problem is you can find the answer to your problem very quickly. So don't let
okay,
something like if you don't have maths stop you from
mm,
wanting to pursue IT
okay,
because there's ways to work around it and be successful.
okay. So to sum it up, you did maths leads. That's correct.
Yes,
Fantastic.
correct.
Which school did you go to
Sterling High School in East London.
in East London? Okay. Any career
Yeah,
guidance? How was it a public school or a private school?
public school. Yeah.
Public school. Any career guidance?
Uh, what that I received during
Yes, when you're in
school and
school.
stuff. Um, no, but we went to one of those. What are they called? It's one of those psychologist type people when you go there and they tell you all the things that you could do in your life. I went to one of those, but she gave me like a list this long of different things I could be, so that I found that useless. But yeah, no, that's pretty much it.
What was one of those things? I'm interested. What was one of those things on the list?
I remember the one was it was a painter. Then there was also stuff in IT. Then there was
Okay.
electrician. Like,
I have to ask you this, but you let us know if you don't want to give us your salary range. You've never sent me your payslip. I don't have it, guys. He has never sent me his salary, but we are just interested to know how much do Ahmad DevOps earn. Can you just give us a range? We just want to have a. Do you earn like your programmers? Like, where are you guys in terms of salary range? Is it between 20 and 30?
no,
No. Okay. Are we looking at 30 and 40? Between 30K and 40K?
it's okay. It's more between 80 and 100.
Okay, I was never gonna get there. So we're looking at roughly between 80 and 100K. Okay, that's fine. But guys, always remember that the salaries that we chat about here, it's just based on the individual circumstances or case, okay? So it does not represent the entire industry. So it's very important to remember that.
I'll go as far as to say pretty much most IT positions, unless you're in like management or in that C-level area, you don't want to go for these big companies because the big companies don't pay the DevOps people like the smaller, medium-sized companies. And that's because, again, that's what I say, like they treat you very much like numbers there. And it's a very different ball game as well when you deal with these medium-sized companies, is that they look at the individual a lot more. I can give you some examples, but I can say there's more than one job that I've had, right? That I wasn't actually 100% qualified for that position. I didn't have the
Okay.
stuff on there. And even in the interview, I told them, guys, listen, I don't know this, but next time we chat, I will. And they look for those type of qualities in someone, right? And because of like, they'll say, okay, no, this guy hasn't got it, but he can learn, he can pick us up. We want him to be part of the team. They look at like those, they look at your drive and if you can fit well in the team, and that's pretty much where you win about 50 to 60% of the battle with getting a good job in IT, I've noticed, and with a good salary. And that all comes with these medium companies because they focus more on the individual. So I would say if you want a bigger salary in your field, start looking at get away from these big guys. They don't care, you know. And
You're
actually,
just a number.
Yeah, you're just a number. You're just a number. And to be honest, where I'm working now, it's the happiest I've ever been because they treat you like an adult, right? My line manager, I think I've spoken with him I've been with this company now about 2.5 months. I think I've spoken with my line manager like 3-4 times maybe. And because at this point, he's just like, you know what, if I need to hear from you, you're either not doing your job or something like that, because he's also a busy man. So they just let you do your work. They won't sit and hound you. Just they'll expect the work to be done, and you don't get that really at a big corporate because they'll sit down your neck and like, oh, where's this and etc. And you can't really work in that space.
Okay, no, I get you. I get your point. I think it's clear. Guys, please like and share this video and drop some questions for Julian. I'm sure you have a lot of questions. But while we are talking about the company, Julian, I want to know what industry are you in? Because that's also important.
We find financial transactions.
So we are in finance.
Yes.
Okay, we are in finance. Okay. What I think you've touched on this, but I want to ask again, what soft skills can you share with us that you feel are important for this job?
Communication with your team is something just for me personally. You have to be able to communicate well, especially in a space where it's growing to be quite remote. You don't speak to your team, and when you work in a team, a lot of people, rely on you. So I'd say if you can demonstrate you greater communicating, and
Okay.
and another important thing is your drive and your ability to execute on that drive. It's all good. Yeah, those are some the soft skills that are the most
Mm,
sought after. I've noticed is that
mm,
they want someone who's hungry to learn, and I know that's
mm,
that's something that's always said, but it's more true now than it was. People like
mm,
as I said
mm,
to you, like the current I'd say the current job as well. I wasn't 100% suited for the role, but I was able to demonstrate in the interview process and well, interview processes that we went through,
mm,
that because I didn't have the right experience for the job, it wasn't the defining factor, right? Then I was still able to
mm.
get the job. So
Okay.
it's more about your ability to communicate and just your own general hunger, to improve. Don't just sit
Mm,
there and don't just go and get your degree, work as a Java developer, and then that's you for the rest of your days. It's just a Java dev. Like,
mm.
no, you have to keep growing,
Keep going.
because yeah, again, yeah, exactly. Because again, if we go back down to it, let's say if you're hiring, right, and you want to, you need some, let's say, developers, and you have a guy who's, let's say, 7 years Java developer, right? And it's great,
Mm,
it's commendable because he's obviously an expert at his craft. But in other companies now, if they see, okay, but here's a guy with, let's say, 3 years Java dev, but he worked as a network administrator, or um, let's say he's in somewhat of security. He wears many hats. That person becomes a lot more valuable in the long run for an enterprise than just someone who's focused on one specific function.
okay.
If that makes
Okay.
sense, because
Okay.
it demonstrates you're able to grow and adapt and move with the company. Because what happens now down the line if the company decides to scrap Java, or like if they'll, let's say, and then
Mm,
move to like .NET or something to that, that's a situation that it's very unlikely to happen. But if it does happen, what are you going to do then? So yeah.
if I'm in college or wherever, how can I prepare myself for the job market? Firstly, I just want to know which platforms do you use to look for a job?
I'm so happy you asked that because I've actually been waiting to see where I could put the plug in on this. But you definitely, if you're in IT, you definitely need to look at OfferZen. It is. I don't know how not many more people are like talking about this platform. So what it is, it's a South African based platform. You can go check it out. But
Mhm.
what you do is you create your CV on there, right? If you and you yeah, you create your CV, you put in your whole profile, what your salary expectations are, where you want to
Okay.
work. So you can say, okay, I want to work in Cape Town, or I want to work remotely. And they also have a lot of
Mm,
European based jobs. So you can get a job in Netherlands. I think Frankfurt's on there too, Ireland. And what happens is, I think like on a monthly basis or weekly basis, whatever, your CV goes out to companies, or it's there in the ether, right? And now when a company is
mm.
going and looking for a DevOps individual and they say their budget is this, they will go in and then your name pops up there, to the companies that are hiring.
Okay.
So companies start reaching out to you. So it's also not like a
Mm,
massive thing, or like when you have to go to a whole bunch of places with your CV. Here you just create your CV and you leave it, and companies will come to you.
okay.
And another nice thing
Okay.
about this approach as well is that because you set your salary off the bat, right? You say
Mm-hmm.
what you want your salary to be. They will only find your profile if they're looking for that. So that also means that, well, most of the time, I should say, that by the time the company reaches out to you and you move forward with the interview process and all that, the salary part's already taken care of, and it's a number that you want because it's a number that you
Oh,
set. You know what I mean?
okay.
So it takes
Wow.
that whole hassle away. When your phone rings or when you get that message is that, okay, they're going to give me the number. Probably going to give me the number that I want, so I can entertain this. You know what I mean? Because there's nothing more defeating than going for a whole round of interviews and stuff, and then you find a company that you really like, but then they come and give you like this insulting salary. You know what I mean? It's
Okay.
deflating. It makes you not want to leave your current job because you think, okay, no, like if this is what people are paying out there, then I may as well stay here. And then you sit there and you get depressed and you start hating IT, and it's not fun.
I'm hearing about it for the first time, and obviously you will send me the link to it so that I can put it on the description box.
Yeah,
wow, I'm so glad we had this chat and I asked you this question, because this is important, because a lot of people will say, oh, you need to put your CV on LinkedIn, and you know how people feel about LinkedIn. It can be really like discouraging.
No, stay away from it. I still maintain LinkedIn is a place for board professionals. Like, because you must see some of the things they write. They like use the whole thesaurus just to talk about something like, this is why your bad employee left. And like, who has the time? Like, no, sorry.
Tell us, last question. What would you do if you were not in IT? What do you think? I think you've spoken about law. Do you think you would have been an attorney?
No. No. I didn't realize how much admin and paperwork and all that jazz goes into being a lawyer. That would never be me, ever. But no, honestly, I'm quite happy in IT. But if I had to choose anything else, it would probably be something like running like an animal sanctuary or something, and not having to work. But that's But if I have to work, it will be in IT, because I mean it's a fun sphere.
You love it.
It's annoying. I didn't think I loved it as much as what I did. But it's forever changing, and for me, who gets bored quickly, it's a nice space to be in.
Okay.
A very nice space to be in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Julian, for your time. I have to let you go. Please say bye-bye to the village.
Goodbye, guys. And yeah, as Boni says, when she drops the video, if you start asking questions, I'll definitely respond as much as possible.
Okay, thank you. Okay, cool. Okay, guys, we've come to the end of this video. I hope you found value. Please like and share it with someone that might need it. I think up next on the village, we are going to host a data analyst. Okay, hopefully, if everything goes well, and we are also going to have a cyber security analyst as well. Yeah, so otherwise, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Please give this video a big thumbs up, guys. You know, it helps YouTube. It helps to tell YouTube that the video had value. Yeah, bye.